Ranking movie sequels coming out in 2026 by how excited I am for them. In dead last place, I have Frozen 3, probably because I'm not 10 years old. I mean, if you're excited for this, that's fine. These have just never really been my thing. I'm sure this is probably going to be like the biggest movie of 2026, though, anyway, since Frozen 2 was the highest grossing animated movie of all time before Inside Out 2. At number 9, I have The Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. This is going to be another prequel movie, this time focusing on Haymitch, and it's going to be based on a book, but the book actually isn't even released yet. I actually did really enjoy reading the first Hunger Games book, but that's kind of where my Hunger Games journey stopped. I watched the movies, but I didn't really care for them. And like, sure, Haymitch is an interesting character, but my favorite part of him was him being Woody Harrelson, who, so I'm really not going to be excited to see a new actor come in and play him, but hopefully it's a pleasant surprise, just like the last Hunger Games prequel was. At number 8, I have Star Wars' next movie, which is coming out around Christmas time 2026, and now let me explain why it's so low, because yes, this could be the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which, while I don't think this is necessarily the best way to end the TV show The Mandalorian, I feel like they should just end it, in a TV show format. I still will definitely be excited if this is what's confirmed to be the next Star Wars film, because listen, I love these characters, even though Baby Yoda definitely should have been left behind before season 3 started. Maybe they have some bigger grand conclusion in mind for these characters that will really make it feel just all worth it. The reason it's at number 8 is because we don't know what Star Wars movie this is yet. We just know it is a Star Wars film, and we also know that the Rey movie is also going to be in development around the same time, and this is going to be like her rebuilding the Jedi Order after the sequels. Now listen, I actually think Rey is an overhated character. I think she just had some bad writing in some of the movies, but I think as a character she was actually pretty good, and Daisy Ridley was actually doing an amazing job as the character. The thing is, the sequels themselves I am not a fan of at all, and I really don't want to take place like 5-10 years after the sequels focusing on Rey. I just feel like there's so many more interesting things we could do for a movie. Like, I don't know, maybe just going way into the future, disconnecting completely from everything we've ever seen, and just making a brand new trilogy with all new characters, no Skywalker ties, no anything. I would have rather that. So for all those reasons, it has to be down at number 8. At number 7, I have Shrek 5. Now listen, I'm not the biggest fan of the Shrek franchise. I mean, I enjoy the first and second Shrek movie. I think they are good films. Third and fourth ones are really pretty bad, honestly. And there's just other stuff I'm more excited for to see coming out in this year, but I do feel like this movie does have potential if they somehow get that style of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish into this movie. The animation style in that was gorgeous. Now listen, I understand that doesn't necessarily blend with Shrek, and I can't picture how they would blend the two styles, but if they can pull it off and make it feel really fresh and unique like Puss in Boots was, I will actually be more hyped when we get a first trailer for this. And even though I'm not that excited for it, I do have to give them credit for actually bringing back all the original voice actors. They didn't lose anybody like a certain franchise, cough cough Megamind. At 6, I have Toy Story 5, which is a very conflicting film for me because listen, this feels absolutely pointless, and it feels like Pixar saw the success of their latest sequel, Inside Out 2, and they're like, hey, let's just keep making sequels. In that way, I'm super cynical of this even being created and them just trying to milk a story out of this as long as they can. But at the same time, I felt the same way about Toy Story 4, and that ended up actually being a really good movie, and all the Toy Story films are really good. Based on the history of these films, it's leading me to believe this is also going to actually be a pretty good film, and we do know Pixar can still make bangers, so while I feel like it kind of has no reason to exist, I feel like they will try to justify it and make something that's actually good at the end of the day. For number 5, I want to let you guys know I did actually start a Patreon that I'm going to be having early access to videos on. Like, tomorrow's video is already live on there if you go and subscribe, but I'm also going to be doing exclusive videos only there. Like when I rewatch films or watch an old classic movie for the first time, I'm going to post exclusive reviews of them there. Don't worry, all the new movie reviews are still going to come out on YouTube at the same time as everything else. But I would really appreciate anybody that does check out the Patreon, and thank you guys in advance. Now at number 5, I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 2, which who knows, it might get a title change, but either way, it's going to be the sequel to Mutant Mayhem, which I was super surprised by last year. I had a ton of fun with it. I love the animation style and the humor. Plus, we know we're going to probably be getting Shredder in the next movie, bringing back the original cast, because I thought they did a great job casting all the turtles as actual kids. And I'm just super hyped to see what they do with this sequel and this franchise going forward. At number 4, I have Avengers Doomsday, because yes, somehow they are going to be planning on making this movie already released in 2026 with RDJ returning, but this time as Victor Von Doom. I've talked about this on my channel before, but I actually feel like people are really overreacting negatively to this casting announcement, and there's plenty of different ways they can explain this in a way that is actually really fulfilling. Dr. Doom is an incredible character, so as long as they do this character justice, I don't care who's playing them, he deserves a great movie that's pretty much almost a solo movie focusing on him. Maybe we get some Fantastic Four in here trying to battle him. I mean, obviously the other Avengers will have to have something to do, but I'm not sure what. At the end of the day, it's the next Avengers film, and I'm going to be hyped for it no matter what. At number 3, I'm actually cheating a little bit. I'm throwing in The Boys Season 5. Listen, I know that this is a TV show. I do not care. This is going to be absolute cinema of a final season of television. I know some people were actually let down with Season 4, and I do think it was one of the weaker seasons, but it was still a great season of television. Plus, most of the complaints people have had is that they're keeping characters alive too long, just trying to stall for that last season, and guess what? This is going to be the end. We're going to go all out. Nobody's safe, and it's going to be absolutely epic. I cannot wait to see what they do with this and the final Butcher versus Homelander. It's going to be insane. At number 2, I have The Batman Part 2. I absolutely adored everything about the first Batman movie. I thought Robert Pattinson was perfect as the character. It has some gorgeous cinematography. Shout out to Greg Fraser. Plus, this movie has so much potential. I just really hope they kind of stay away from the Joker being the main villain in this movie. You can have him like pulling the strings or doing something in this film, but let's focus on maybe like a Clayface, Hush, Mr. Freeze. My personal pick would be for Hush, but there's so many great villains they can introduce into this movie and just make it an absolute masterpiece. I just hope it doesn't get delayed any further than 2026 because I cannot wait for this. My most anticipated movie of 2026 and honestly of the near future is Dune Messiah. I cannot wait for this thing. I've read the book and it is an absolute masterpiece. Going to be completely different than Dune Part 2. The story of Dune Messiah is absolutely incredible and Denis Villeneuve has absolutely cooked with the first 2 Dune movies. I think there's no way that this is let down and it's going to be an easy masterpiece.